I'm pretty happy with what we were able to accomplish there. Just being able to, you know, go into our, we have a script now to determine what a ship should start with. So if we go back to ship 3 and I run this, you can see we have a little tiny ship now that goes faster. It's got a little less weapons. So I think this is great. What's up, everybody? Axe Wizard here, back with some more game adventures. When last we left off, we figured out how to use some particle effects to make a missile trail for my missiles, for my rockets. And that looks pretty darn cool. Come on, fire it. There we go. So, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to work on defining what a ship is. And what that lets us do is that lets us similar to how we're determining weapon types here, we also want to determine ship types. So for example, a small little ship shouldn't be able to hold 50,000 weapons. That's just not reasonable. You know, if I switch my sprite here to say this little ship here, which I think it's 3 is my little shuttle one. Yeah. If I set my sprite here or my ship to use that sprite, let's do that now. Gen ship, so generated ships number 3. So I just updated that sprite, but nothing else updated. I still have all the same weapons. I still have the same weapon placements. You can see like I have a turret back here in the middle of nowhere, and I also have a huge rocket launcher right here and a light cannon right up front there. That doesn't make any sense. So we want to be able to determine where stuff is going to be placed, and also the properties of a ship, what attributes we have, like what variables we have. So for example, later on we're going to worry about cargo space, like, you know, we can't carry 17 billion tons of medical supplies or whatever to go planet to planet to make some money with a little shuttle here. So we need to figure that out. So that's going to be what we're going to be doing on this episode here. So what I'm thinking is that we already have some variables defined here for our ship. And, you know, the ship's going to be managing weapons and stuff like that. So I don't think that we need to necessarily have a script like we do for our weapons that returns like this object. So this weapon returns like this struct of all these different fields. Since scripts, if they're called from the right instance, they can modify those variables directly. I think we can just define what variables we need on our ship, and then we can call the we can make a script called like scr ship, and you can pass in what ship type you want, and it'll update the ship variables for that ship to be what you need. So for example, that shuttle should only have 2 light weapon slots. That's it. That's all it should have. So let's go to, let's see, we got weapon types. Let's also do ship types. So I don't think at this point, I'm not going to be too specific here, but we do need to have the actual types defined. So I think I'm going to do ship type. And let's just start with our little shuttle here. So I'm going to do shuttle 1. Let's see, a lot of this stuff is going to be determined on the sprite though. So I don't know if we actually necessarily need types. I think we can just pass in what sprite we want to use and go from there. So I'm going to undo that real quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new script. And we're going to name this SCR. I'm going to say ship init. And what I'm going to do this actually, I'm going to make it more readable. Init ship. So what init is short for is initialize or initialization. So whenever you initialize a ship, it'll just set all these variables for it. We can also do set ship. I'm going to call it init ship because in most programming languages, if you have like a function that's named init, it usually means it's only run once at the start of like when either the program is running, or in this case, when the ship is created. So I think this should be fine here. Let's get rid of this generated comment here. We don't need that. We'll do a JS doc style comment here. And what this will let us do is this will let us define the parameters and stuff, and it'll help with the autocomplete down here, I think. You know, whatever. We're just going to do regular comment. I don't feel like messing with JS doc, especially if it's not going to auto format it for me. That's just a pain. So let's just do scr init ship takes in a sprite index and sets variables of the calling instance accordingly. Warning, this script should only ever be called from a ship, or else the game will crash. So again, if we're trying to set variables and stuff like that that don't exist, it might still work because we're setting them, but if we need to interact with those might throw a fit. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to say the argument's going to be called SPR. Actually, no, I'm not going to name the argument SPR because all my sprites are prefixed with SPR, and every time I type in SPR, autocomplete's just going to throw a sprite at me. So I'm going to just do, I'm just going to say ship sprite. That way it's more explicit and autocomplete will help me. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say, we don't need to do like what we did with our weapon. We don't need to have a fresh weapon script because we're not, you know, we already have a ship that's going to have all this, all the variables that we need. So we don't need to do that. So all we need to do is just do another switch statement, switch, and we're going to do ship sprite. And we're going to do case, and we're going to say SPR gen, and I think it's ship 3. So we're just going to do, yeah, let's just focus on one for now. We're going to do ship 3 to start out with. I did this wrong. We need to do the colon after, because that's the syntax of a switch statement. And then we're going to need to add break after to tell we're done. So what are we going to have to set here? So we are going to have to set basically all of this stuff. I mean, really, we're going to set, we're not going to do the layer and stuff like that. We're not going to do the camera offset. That's just player stuff. In reality, this should probably be moved to the controller object, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now. So let's do all of this stuff here. So I'm going to copy, go back down to my script here, and I'm going to put this in a multi-line comment. So let's make this bigger. Let's minimize this down here so we got more room to play. And so what we're going to do is, yeah, you know, I think we're just going to copy this and just paste it right in here. And then we're going to indent everything, of course. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of a lot of these other weapons that we have here. I'm also going to get rid of this turret. And I'm going to swap out this rocket launcher with just this here. So we're going to have just two fixed weapons here. Array of primary, array of weapons. So I think for this script, we don't really necessarily need a lot of the comments here, because the comments are going to be on the ship. So I think I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff here, because another reason for this is that also if we change what a variable is used for, then we'll have conflicting comments and I might not remember to come back here. So the source of truth for these comments should be my actual ship. So we're going to keep it there. So now this is just going to say, we're going to feed in this sprite and it's going to set our variables and stuff for us. So what we're going to do is I'm going to basically hide all of these weapons with another multi-line comment. That way they're not visible. I'm going to start the game. And so remember, oh wait, I got so script init ship line 58 unexpected symbol and malformed assignment. Gotcha. So we failed to compile and run the game. Weapons equals, what do we have down here that's not liking it? Oh. Okay, so I guess I gotta be. I already had a multi-line comment in there, so the closing character was just finishing it off and ruining that. So that's what that was. That was just multiple multi-line comments don't play well together. So now that we have our ship, oh, I moved. I didn't want to move. I'm used to just jumping in and playing. So I didn't want to move my ship. So my ship is static. If I press F5, because that's what I programmed debug mode to. So let's look at where we're supposed to place this, place some weapons. So I think maybe like right here. So we have, I think right there. So it's 21 and 8. Let's do one up here. So we got 21 and 8 was the first one. So let's just go back into Game Maker really quick. And we're going to set this to 21 for the X and 8 for the Y. And then the second one was going to be like up here. And I think this should be, so 1 and negative 11. So then we're going to do 1 and negative 11. Cool. So because this is also a ship that's smaller, I think we should be able to, first of all, turn faster. I think we should be able to have a maximum higher speed or accelerate faster. I think we should also be able to turn faster. And our deceleration speed, I think, should be fine. Our hit points shouldn't be that high. I think I'm going to set to 50. Our shields, I want shields to generally be higher. So I'm going to just set those to 150. Shield regen, all that stuff's good. So I'm going to hit save on this. So now what I'm going to do is to implement this, I'm going to say initialize our ship to match the sprite we want to use. Oh, also one other thing too is we also want to set our sprite index to equal ship sprite. Okay. So what this is that right now my ship, say if I change my ship sprite on the object itself to be, I don't know, I'm going to say that this fourth one here. So if we start this right now, yes, stop the current project and run it again. You're going to see that we're going to have a different ship. Okay, so this is our ship that we're using now. That's what we had set in our object. But now if we go down here and we initialize our script and we do scr init ship, and we say SPR gen, and we wanted ship 3, then everything's going to change. There we go. So look at that. Now we have a little ship that's faster. It only has 2 weapons on it. And that way we don't have to keep figuring out where all the weapons should go on a ship. We can just do that once, and then we're good to go. So now we can fly around and shoot people with our little fast ship. And we are just flying through the galaxy, man. So this is working out good so far. I like this. Boom. Cool. Look at that. We're taking out big ships like a boss. Okay. So cool. So now we have that. Now we've got that good. Now since we already did, was it ship 1 is what we were using before? Right. So since we already figured out the ship 1 stuff, I'm gonna also add a case for that. SPR gen, and we're gonna do ship 1. And we're going to do a break here as well. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to copy the stuff that we have here. Actually, we also need here as well, because a lot of this stuff we already had figured out. So, actually, no, we already have a lot of that stuff copied in the script, and I don't want to take all that stuff out again. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to say sprite index equals ship sprite. Cool. So acceleration speed was 0.2 for this ship. The max speed was 4. The turn speed was 1. Yeah, that's fine. For hit points for this ship, this is a bigger ship, so I think we're going to set this to something like, pretty big. I'm going to say 300. And then for the shields, I'm going to say 750 for the shields. And then for the weapons that it had, these are the ones that we were using earlier. So if we set this here, we'll tab this, get rid of that. This is our rocket launcher here. We probably, yeah, let's set this, and then I'm gonna swap this back out for the light weapon. So then I'm gonna save this. So now if we go back to our ship, and for our init, we set this as ship 1 and save, it should put it back to how we had it before. There we go. And you can see we have 2 weapons on the front, and we also have like a turret on the back. But I think it could use a lot more than that. So I think that I'm going to start that again. I'm not going to move the ship. I'm going to go back into debug mode. So we've got weapons here and here. I think we should also have like a maybe a medium weapon here. So 15 and -25. 15, -25. So if we go back up here to, I'm just going to close all but this. And then open up our script again. That way it's closer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncomment this. And I'm going to say, I forgot what it was already. It was 15, -25 is what we had before? Yeah, that sounds right. 15, -25. We'll put a rocket launcher on there. And then, let's see, maybe we also want to have another weapon here. And I'm going to say 2333. We're just going to add, I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to say 23 33. And save. So now, if I close this and I restart it again, we should have a total of 5 weapons on our ship now. Nice. I set that to a turret. Oh well. So we got 2 turrets. That's interesting. But yeah, now we're bolting weapons onto our ship, and it looks really cool. So that's pretty fun. I meant to set that as another light cannon, though, not necessarily a turret. So cool. All right, so that is working how we want it to. So now we're able to determine characteristics of our ship just based on the sprite, which I think is a pretty good way of doing it for what we have now. And you can see that we're doing a lot of damage. Doing many pew pew. Pew pew. Yes, very good. Cool. So, what's next? You know, I think that's probably a good stopping point there for this episode, because I don't want this to be like 6 hours long. So I think I'm going to stop there. So now I'm pretty happy with what we were able to accomplish there. Just being able to, you know, go into our... we have a script now to determine what a ship should start with. So if we go back to ship 3 and I run this, you can see we have a little tiny ship now that goes faster. It's got a little less weapons. So I think this is great. So now I'm going to have to spend some time figuring out how I want to handle the weapon slots, but I'm going to call this a win for today, and I'm going to play it smart, and I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. So I'm pretty happy with what I was able to accomplish today, and I will see you all in the next episode.